Hello, and welcome back to episode number 52 of the Precision Personal Training Podcast. And today's episode is a solo episode. It's a little bit different because I am marking 52 episodes, a full year worth of weekly podcast episodes. And to be honest, when I started this podcast, I had no idea where it would go. It was a chance to share ideas, interview clients, and show people how we coach on a one-to-one basis and learn from industry experts. And I feel like I've learned more from this podcast, and the guests that have been on it. It's probably the best decisions I've ever made personally, just because the networking it's allowed me to achieve. And hopefully I can help people navigate fitness and get through the noise a little bit clearer. Because there's just a lot of it on social media nowadays. So over the last 52 episodes, I've had incredible guests. We talked about everything from fat loss and muscle building to menopause, breathwork, summiting, Everest Base Camp, burnout, mindset, business, and a whole lot more. So instead of bringing on a guest today, I thought I'd give it a break and share some of the biggest lessons that I've learned personally through podcasting, talking with people, 6 years coaching, running a business, even still at 24. I wouldn't say these are revolutionary ideas, because I know I'm still extremely young. In fact, most of these ideas are quite simple, but sometimes the simple things are the things we need to hear the most. And going into my first lesson, one of the biggest lessons I've learned from coaching people through the years is consistency beats perfection every single time. People often wait for the perfect conditions. They wait until a Monday, wait until, let's say, work might calm down, and wait until the kids are older. The people who succeed aren't perfect, they're just consistent. And too often, I see it with clients all the time when it comes to something like fat loss. They feel like they need to be perfect every single day of the week to achieve the result they want. That is not the case. You hear all the time. Any of you guests I've brought on, Dylan, the last podcast episode, and the dietitian, you do not need to be perfect when it comes to something like fat loss. You literally just need to be consistently making decisions towards the person that you want to become. So I think people get caught up in knowing what supplements to be buying, perfect gym setup. Like if I take it back to when I first started training clients, I was able to get results with adjustable dumbbells, a curved bench. It wasn't actually even adjustable bench or a flat bench. It was an old sit-up curved bench. Um, I had a squat rack that I bought on Dundee for €150, rusty barbell, and a few bumper plates, and then some bands. So I was able to get results with that back 6, 7 years ago. And the results were great. Like one of the first results I ever posted was my very own cousin Killian, massive transformation, and it really blew up my name as a good coach and personal trainer. So you do not need the perfect conditions by all means. There is an ideal time to start something like fat loss or fat loss journey. But when it comes to fitness, fitness is everywhere. Fitness is anything that you make it. Um, a lot of people say that they're scared of gym and scared of the exercises that they have to do in the gym. But let's say if you're getting in and out of a Jeep, you're technically doing a step up or a lunge up to your car or Jeep. If you're bending down to get something while you're cleaning, if you're out walking, that's exercise. So all these things, it's just when you that fear or wanting it to be perfect, it's never going to happen. You just need to be consistent and you need to get started. somewhat. Um, when it comes to this idea of perfection, you're never actually going to reach that, because such is life. Like, there's always going to be something that will go wrong for you. Um, I think it's how you always respond to it. And again, it's coming back to how you stay consistent. The thing is, online now on social media, everyone's trying to grab your attention and trying to become the next best thing. So something like someone saying, "Oh, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent," or something like "boring works," doesn't look sexy on Instagram or TikTok, and you won't get clicks, because, to be honest, it's something that people don't want to hear. But one thing that I know what we do well at Brazilian PT is we don't actually pull the piss out of anyone, and we just don't want to take your money. There will be some harsh truths that will be said if there needs to be. And a lot of the time, people come to us and they want to lose weight very quickly. And we'll be the very first person to tell them that that will not happen. It's very contextual to the person. It depends on how much weight they have to lose. Let's say if they want to bench 100 kilos, have you even benched before? Do you know the technique? So, like, if I tell you, yeah, dude, you could bench 100 kilos in a month just to get your money, get you signed up to my program, and you've never even done a bench press before, that's just not, it's not going to happen. That's not feasible. So, bring it back to that point. Consistency beats perfection every single time. If you're waiting for the right time, if you're waiting for the perfect setup, it's never going to happen. Just get started and start staying consistent towards the person that you want to become. Motivation is overrated. And I'm going to give you a personal story to this one. So on Tuesday, I did from 6 a.m. until 1 o'clock PT and back to back. The last thing I wanted to do was train. And people say it to us all the time: it must be so easy for you to train and exercise, or you must work out every day. You work in a gym. It's probably harder, because you have to think you're working there, you're eating your breakfast there, you're on there for a 6, 7 hour stint. The last thing I want to do is switch on the mindset to then go in and lift weights. So if I relied on motivation at that point, I had none. Like, I was not motivated to train. And this, where you have to accept, is this your idea of being perfect, where you're always going to be motivated, you're always going to want to train, and it's wrong. It's wrong for you to get the thoughts that you don't want to train. No. There's going to be days where the last thing you want to do is exercise, and it's that guilt and shame that you put on yourself to say, "Oh, you should," because you know you feel better. And if you think you shouldn't feel like that, if you think you should not feel guilty, or you think that you should be ashamed that you don't want to exercise, that is the wrong mindset, because that is okay. In all my years coaching people and all the years training myself, the majority of my sessions, I'm never like screaming at the weights to train. Like, you're just never gonna be completely motivated. But it's just having your habits in place, knowing that it's okay to not feel like training, but you know, well, once you get started, you will feel better. What I always say to clients is, call it the 10-minute workout. So what I did on Tuesday was, I knew myself that it was going to be a slog at the beginning. So what did I do? I went, got a coffee for a caffeine hit. Then I just sat down in the corner of the gym, and whatever you watch, whatever you get a buzz off, if it's a YouTuber, someone online, just watch that, switch off your brain from work mode, and just bring yourself back down to earth. You're relaxing, you're chilling, you're watching that, you're drinking a coffee, and then I'm mentally preparing myself. I'm like, okay, it's 45 minutes to an hour. Once I get started, the first 10 minutes are the most important part. This is where warm-ups are very important as well, and warm-up sets. So it was an upper session. I am on 50 kilo dips last week for one set of 5. That Tuesday session there, that I did not want to do, I was not motivated for, I ended up getting 55 kilos for 6 reps. That to me is insane. I never got 50 kilos. I never got 50 kilos for that amount of reps. Then the second set, I said, feck it, 50 kilos again, and I got 4 reps. Last week, I did not get that. I got 50, 40, and 30. That Tuesday session, I got 50, 50, and 40. So I went up in reps and the weight. That was a mega session across the board. But the first 10 minutes is where I said to myself, I'm not turning away from this session for at least 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, if you're still feeling like crap, feel shitty, then you can consider pulling pin. But I committed to the first 10 minutes. Lo and behold, looked at the watch. I was 10 minutes into the session. I had the first set of 50 for 6 done. I was on a buzz. I was ready to go. That was that. Done and dusted. Nobody feels motivated every single day. Motivation, by all means, can get you started. It absolutely can. But it's your habits that keep you going. So a lot of our clients, they book in, let's say, Monday, Wednesday at 6 a.m. They're booked in. Out of those, let's say 8 sessions in their block, 2 sessions by 4 weeks, they're 8 sessions. Come the fourth, fifth, or sixth session, are you going to be motivated to get up at 6 a.m.? God, no. Like that kind of beginner's buzz. This is something new, new training style, new gym, new coach. That will fizzle out. But it's the habit and you committing to those time slots that is what gets you to the gym and keeps you consistently going there. Number 3, most people need less punishment and more patience. I see this all the time now, especially coming up to summer and holidays, where anyone new starting with us are saying, okay, I have 6 weeks to my holiday. I'm going to drop my calories to a crazy number. Let's just say 1,200 calories Monday to Friday, and then I might just do 1,400 Saturday and Sunday. I'm cutting out this, cutting out that, cutting out that. And lo and behold, in a week's time, you'll be in the vicious cycle again. And then you'll absolutely hate yourself on this holiday because you're starting off straight away from a place of punishment. You need to have more patience. If you're not happy with your physique right now, as you listen to this, if you say to yourself, and look, I'm using the example of a holiday coming up in 4 weeks. If you say to yourself, I'm going to go on this holiday, I'm going to enjoy some sunshine, I'm going to enjoy the time with family members and whoever I'm going with, and then when I get back, or even on holiday, I'm going to train, I'm going to start exercising more consciously, and I'm going to tidy up my diet. That now is you making the commitment to yourself. You're saying you're setting realistic goals instead of straight away going into a crazy deficit. You're setting 3 to 5 consistent big rocks that are going to stay consistent for you throughout the weeks. And then you need to give yourself time. You need to stop thinking 6, 12, 16 weeks when it comes to a result. By all means, you can get ridiculous shape in those weeks. We have done it with clients. But the reason why I do podcasting, the reason why I do the social posts on social media, how I post, is because I'm trying to help people who aren't coming near to the gym, and I'm trying to get you thinking more lifelong with your training. So when it comes to it, you're not just training for 4 weeks, you were training for 4 years, 14 years, 40 years, the rest of your life. Training will absolutely change your life and enhance it if you let it. You need to accept that you get to choose to go to the gym. It's an absolute privilege. You get to choose to go and exercise, and you need to do that. You need to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. That could be in a set where you're, let's say, training biceps, and you're towards the end of a set, your biceps are screaming, your arms are hurting, but you're like, no, I'm going to get my 10 reps and I'm going to drop these weights. You need to get into that mindset. You need to get into the long-term mindset of this is going to enhance my life only if you let it. Most transformations happen a lot slower than what Instagram and TikTok allow you to believe. So you need to take everything you see online with a pinch of salt. If you see someone tidy up their physique and their diet within 2 months, you need to consider they potentially have been training for a very long time and can jump in and out of it very quickly. Lesson number 4, Nothing beats the basics. The basics still work. I have interviewed some insanely intelligent people, and they're all experts at their crafts. They're all super insightful, super knowledgeable. If I could say one common thing between all of the guests I've had on, and I've had a few, they all talk about basics. If it's improving your health, if it's improving your training, if it's improving your diet, nothing beats the basics. Okay. So, does it work for you? Can you adhere to it for a longer time than, let's say, more than 4 weeks? Can you hit that protein target sufficiently every single day for the next however much years of your life? They all talk about the same thing. The basics work. Improving your sleep, hit more protein, increasing your fiber, drinking water, managing your training volume. So that's basically how much work you do over a certain period of time in the gym. Nail your technique and be extremely consistent with your technique. Progressively overload, um, and then just make sure you're moving steps like that. That in a nutshell will create a healthier person. By all means, you need the balance. You need to be able to go on a night out, have a few drinks. You need to be able to enjoy food out, a meal out, some chocolate. Nobody is saying not to. None of these guests and experts have said not to. It's just make sure you have that core value system in place where you have like 6 to 8 things that you can live without. Like if you ask me, what's 6 to 8 things I have to do within a week? Okay, so obviously I have to train 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the week. I have to hit over 150 grams protein a day. I drink 3 to 4 liters water a day. I have 2 cups of coffee a day because I love my coffee. Steps. I'm currently in a fat loss phase, which I'm documenting on YouTube. I like to keep my steps above 12,000 now every day. Sleep. I try to be in bed by 10:30 and awake at 5:30 every morning. I take magnesium before I sleep. I wear my blue light blockers when I can. Um, and I try to hit 35-40 grams of fiber a day because I do not want to struggle to go to the loo and the other benefits of fiber. So they're my core values for what makes me tick and be a healthier person, because I think nowadays everyone is very health conscious, but you need to remember that the basics still work. Nail the basics, and then you can look at, okay, let's say you get your bloods done. This supplement will help this blood marker improve. Okay, this training program will help me get the 100 kilo bench because I'm now benching. So it all comes back to basics, your foundation, and then we see how we can perfect it or just tweak it a little bit more from there. Lesson number 5: progress is not linear. So we have scale fluctuations, quote unquote, bad weeks. I just call them stressful weeks. Holidays, weddings, parties. If you think you're going to become a complete hermit, that's fine for a certain time period, but that isn't sustainable. Like you're not going to keep that up forever. So you need to make sure that you accept progress is not linear. Like I've gone from 98 kilos to 88.8 this morning now. So let's say I've lost roughly 10 kilos so far this year. And my weight has fluctuated crazy through that time. But in that time, me and Laura went to Malta. I had my birthday. I had Laura's birthday. I had brother's birthday, parents, like everything comes at the start of the year. So I know step it up in the weighing scale or training sessions or just even recovery. Like you're not always going to be perfect. This goes back to one of the first lessons. It's just how consistent can you be to get back to where you need to be. But progress is never going to be linear. It's never just going to be here all the way down here. It's going to look like this: zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So that's something to consider when you do start your fitness journey. It's probably the biggest thing I've seen people Biggest challenge I've seen people have to face is dealing with the weighing scale and realizing that progress does actually take time. And it can be soul crushing because you have this idea and this pressure built up in your head to look a certain way and achieve a certain result within a certain time frame. But sometimes such is life. Like you're never going to be constantly perfect or ticking the boxes all the time. Life gets in the way. It's just all about having those 6 to 8 things I spoke about that make you tick. And if you get them done, you'll be feeling better and you'll be moving in the direction you want to be. Lessons that a lot of my guests have reinforced then is number 6 here. Everybody struggles. So I've had uh, business owners, coaches, um, athletes, all on the podcast, my own clients, and they've all talked about self doubt and questioning themselves. You're always going to do it. Like Olivia doing Everest Base Camp. Like I can only imagine what was going through her head, like in the middle of that trek, where you're thinking, geez, can I do this? But as she said herself, she listens to that negative voice and she realizes that's not me talking. So you have to try silence that, put it aside and accept that that voice is going to be there. That self-doubt is going to be there. When you start a weight loss journey, you're going to think, can I actually do this? You don't know because you've never done it before if it's your first time. And I feel more like I think anyone who's doing it for the first time, you're in a good spot because there's no bad habits or there's no previous trauma, you could say, or issues you've had dieting. Um, so if you've done it before, this is where I have a bit more sympathy for you. It hasn't been successful because it can be hard, but you need to understand that there isn't a one size fits all approach. This is where you cannot compare yourself to people online. Um, just stay in your lane, focus on yourself, and just try do a task that makes you a small bit better each day. If, like, let's say your week has started off bad, and I literally spoke to a client about this morning. Week starts off quote unquote bad because it's all relative. Like what's bad in your eyes, but they had like shit sleep, weighing scale not going their way, and just in a rut. What's one thing that you can do to improve your week? Could it be if we get a dry spell during the rain and there's a gap, can you get up and move? Can you pull back on your caffeine intake and tidy up your sleep hygiene? Can you drink a bit more water? Can you actively get more fiber in? Can you add a bit more color to your plate instead of just having chicken, carrots, and mash? You have chicken, carrots, broccoli, and mash. That is doing a bit better. So again, everyone struggles, everyone has self-doubts. It's just how consistent you show up and can you do something a little bit better than what you did yesterday? And the answer to that is yes, every single person can. I know if you have different setups and scenarios to other people, it can be harder, but there is something that you can do that's a little bit better than the day previous. Lesson number 7. Health isn't just physical. It's if your mental health is suffering, your physical health will often follow. Now, when I say if your mental health is suffering, stress. If you're letting stress take over your body and take over your thoughts and the things you tell yourself the day to day, then you won't be able to think straight. And usually you'll put stuff like your exercise, your training on the back burner. I have some clients now that are going through some serious, serious, serious life stressors, and that's okay. Such is life. But if you get yourself in a rut and you stop doing the things that make you tick, so like let's say drinking water, getting your sleep, training, exercising, these are all things that fill up our cup, that keep us going, keep us being able to perform better for people around us. If you stop doing those things and maybe stress, life gets in the way and you get into that rut, you're going to feel terrible. And guess what? You're going to go down that rut even more. So this where it comes back to motivation. You're never going to be motivated all the time. There's gonna come a time where you'll be at a crossroads and it'll be a case of, if I don't do this session, it's gonna have a domino effect into how I feel the next few days. Do I want that? Do I want to feel like shit and then be a worse person for the people, not as cheerful, we could say, person for the people around me, and handle the stressful situations that I have going on? No, I don't want that. So you do the session, you get through it, no matter how crap you feel, and I guarantee you, you will feel better. Burnout is a thing, absolutely, but we all know the signs that creep on for ourselves and for our own bodies. We know we're getting to our limit. So it's about noticing that, but it's just to remember that health isn't just physical. Um, so we look at gut health, breath work, menopause, all these things that we can control and get on top of, but it's on you, the person, to prioritize yourself and get on top of these things as well. Lesson number 8, success leaves clues. So one thing I've noticed about successful clients, people successful at business, successful coaches, is there's a few common things that they're doing on a day to day. And it's probably something that I don't give myself enough credit for as well. It's early mornings, there's structure, it's simplest, like there's simplicity there in their routine, and there's also discipline. The most successful people often do boring things consistently. Unfortunately, you want to hear something sexy, but it's not always the case. Any of these experts I've interviewed, any of my clients that have been on the podcast, or anyone that's had successful transformations themselves, like let's say Dave doing bodybuilding show, they have structure, they have a routine. There's non-negotiables there. And this is what I mean. This is where you can absolutely, you have to listen to your body, and you have to slow down and think what is best for me right now. But if we listen to our feelings too much, often it's we go down a route where we feel sorry for ourselves and we don't actually end up feeling better. It's the answers are usually in the work that you're not doing. So if it's a case where you say to yourself, okay, I'm in a rush, I feel like crap, I guarantee you, if you do this, if you improve your sleep, okay, stop scrolling on your phone on TikTok at night or Instagram, turn on the orange light on your phone so you're not getting blue light constantly hitting your eyes. Take some form of magnesium pre-bed, about an hour or two before bed. Cut caffeine out, okay? This is stuff that you can do tonight while you're listening to this podcast, okay? Stop eating about an hour or two before bed, okay? And just try get yourself in a relaxed state, okay? If you have to, write down 3 things you're grateful for today, and then try get the best night's sleep you can. Wake up early, go and train, shower, drink some water, and eat food that you know is going to agree with you. So if you went after a gym session and got a breakfast roll in the plaza with ketchup, beans, hash browns, pudding, a lot of fat, you're going to feel like crap. Not necessarily fat is bad, but those type of trans fats, oily foods like that are going to make you feel like crap after a session. But if you meal prep something like overnight oats, okay, and there's porridge, protein, milk, chia seeds, blueberries, raspberries, some honey over that, you drink plenty of water, and maybe you drink some caffeine then, I guarantee you, you will feel amazing going into that day, because you're doing hard stuff. You're eating the frog early, which means any task you have to do today, you know, you were in the gym struggling with weights over your head, on your back, pushing through machines. You got up early when other people just roll over and stay in bed. You released endorphins from that gym session. You're ticking boxes. It's all a very positive domino effect starting to play out here. So success leaves clues. These people are successful. They're doing what I just said there. If you start doing that, watch, everything will start to improve. But it's in the work that you're not doing. where the beauty lies and where you'll get most of your answers. And then, by all means, you can adjust. You can change your routine to fit your day to day. Feck it. Get onto a personal trainer. Get on Precision PT and let's get more organized or find what works for you. But don't just sit there and wallow in a rut, because that is one of the worst things you can do. Get it out of here. Remember, what comes up in here, inside your head, isn't what has to happen outside in your life in a day to day. But if you stay trapped in here and do absolutely nothing, guess what? You're going to stay in there and it gets a whole lot worse. I'm not always positive. I'm not always strong minded, but I know the shit that I do in a day to day to keep me ticking up here, that will just outweigh that negative voice or that them thoughts that want to weigh you down and keep you in your head. Lesson number 9. There are many ways to get results. There's different training styles. There's different nutrition approaches. Just avoid the dogmatic approach. Some people will train once a week and get great results. Some people train twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week and get great results. That's them. There's so many ways to skin the cat. Some people will cut carbs and find it works great. Some people will track their macros and track their calories and it will work great. Some people will follow a meal plan. Some people won't track at all. They'll just increase their cardio, stay training, stay eating, but they increase their cardio so they lose weight. There's just so many ways to skin a cat in this game. We try teach you understanding calories in foods, understanding macros, understanding micronutrients, and why we need to have a balanced approach of all to live a healthy lifestyle. I personally don't like giving out meal plans. Meal plans work, without a doubt. But I would like to take the approach of this day where you might have prepped your food because you're normal, you're a human, you're never going to be robotic, and you could be away. You come back from holidays, you're back to work the next morning, you have to unpack, you have to get people ready for school, maybe, whatever. The last thing you want to do is sit down and cook 3 days worth of chicken, rice, broccoli, whatever your meal prep. I've meal prepped some lovely meals. I'm not just dissing chicken, rice, and broccoli. But the reason why I don't just give clients meal plans straight away, by all means, if they are adamant they want one and they're constantly requesting one, I will give one. But I would like it where if you're come back from that holiday or whatever, okay, if I have a breakfast that is high protein, there's fiber in it, and it's quick and easy to get into me. I know myself that if my meal plan says meal number 1 is first thing in the morning, eggs, turkey rashers, slim bagel with some relish, I'm not going to be able to make that first thing in the morning. But if I go to the shop and I see a protein yogurt with some granola in it, I can grab that, and then I could maybe grab Connecticut protein milk. That will do me. That's fine. I like to try to teach people that there is life after their diet. There is life after their macro targets. You're not going to be tracking food forever, but it can teach you what's in these foods that you're having. So let's say oil is one of the best ones I find for people when they see how much calories is in olive oil. So usually they go for the 1 cal spray olive oil, the one in soup value. It actually comes out oily. It doesn't come out like that rotten them fry light sprays. I don't like them. But let's say yourself, you know, okay, that's in that food. If I'm trying to use fat, I don't want to waste 100 calories on olive oil, so I'll go for this for the time. So that's why, look, by all means, meal plans work, but it's just trying to teach you what's in certain foods. And look, you can see the calories, you can see the macro breakdown in a meal plan. It's just trying to get you to use your brain. We're all victims of AI, ChatGPT. You struggle to think of something, oh, Google it straight away. What do you do when shit hits the fan and you're looking in the fridge and there's nothing there to have, or you go to a shop and nothing there is on your meal plan? What are you going to decide to do? What's going to get you over the line? And it could literally just be black coffee, protein bar, 20 grams of protein in that bar, 200 calories. Is the best thing for me? No, but I feel fine if I eat it, and it would keep me going till I can get to the shop, do a food shop that I'm not starving doing, and buy something that I shouldn't buy, and you're able to do your food shop, get home, cook, and eat them. I'm what I try to do with my clients with nutrition is give them the tools to make decisions and not feel guilty after them, and not panic and be like, oh, Kyle wants me to have meal two, oats with dark chocolate, honey, and protein powder. I have everything else bar dark chocolate. What do I do? What can I have? Oh, I know there's good fat content in almonds. I can have almonds. You're getting my point. It's about enhancing your life, not taking away from it. Then just some lessons that I've learned through the years of running a business, since 17, 18 years of age, 24 now. Nobody has it figured out. When I started off in a shed, I didn't have a clue at all. You just have to learn as you go. Like, let's say the systems to make a business run. Did I know the location I'd end up in? No. Did I know the amount of equipment I'd have? No. Um, did I know, like, let's say my filing, tax returns, everything, like all these things you just learn as you go. Like no one has anything figured out. Even with business, you're gonna make mistakes. You just have to keep learning and just accept that you don't need to figure it all out. I've been in scenarios where guys have tried to play the big dick role, and that I just like, that's not for me. I don't really care. Um, I know, well, everyone is just trying to get through, get by, and no one has it sussed. So that's one thing that you take from business, fitness, whatever it is you do. Um, Confidence comes after action. Many people wait until they're confident or think, oh, if I lose a bit of weight before I go to the gym, I'll be more confident to go to the gym. You don't become confident talking about things. Take action and then watch. You will start walking around with a bit of a pep in your step, and you'll actually know what you're talking about. That's what I found through years of coaching, running a business, podcasting. Like, I wasn't confident podcasting at the start. Now I can sit and blabber in front of a camera all day. But that's because I've taken the action um day in, day out for the past, let's say, year podcasting, and I've built up that confidence now to stay consistent as well. Getting something done is better than being perfect. I noticed this with starting the podcast, posting content, um, coaching offers, just starting, doing something. It goes back to taking action. This podcast literally started from this camera, this small little camera right here, and these mics, these tiny little mics. Them two things started the podcast. Now I have these badass mics. I have this lovely setup in here in Bachelor Salon, the lights, the MacBook. Like, there was none of this at the beginning. So a lot of people think, oh, my content has to be perfect. My messaging has to be perfect. You're always going to be refining and making it that little bit better. Again, you're never going to reach perfect. Like, what even is it? Like, what, once you reach it, is that just it? You're done. Like, for me, I know there's constant work to be done with this podcast. It's always going to be improving. My physique isn't perfect in my eyes. I'm constantly chipping away, building it up, uh, putting it through hard sessions, because maybe I'm like, yeah, look, chest has come on, quads have come on, but my arms are still small, so I want to build my arms. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just, I know I'm never going to be perfect, but I want to keep getting it done, keep improving, and seeing what happens. Um, so that's one thing, especially in business. Done is better than trying to be perfect. Like, get something done is way better than standing still and not doing that, and being afraid because it will be perfect. I'd rather do something and refine and come back to it. Then next lesson is comparison. There's good comparison, bad comparison. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 100. I had a post on this the last day. If someone's 10 years in business, I'm highly motivated by them. I'm inspired by them. I look up to that, but I know myself that I'm in a different position to them, that I can never expect to be them. We're all on our own journey. It's like someone's physique. I'm 24. Should I be comparing myself to a natural bodybuilder who's 44, who's maybe training for 25, 30 years? No, like you learn from them, you get inspired by them, you try develop the habits they've developed to be that long in the game and doing that well. But everyone is different. I've seen people compare themselves to me through the years and the paths that's led them down. And I'm always like, don't do that because I'm my own person. I'm my own psycho. I think I am a psycho. And so I try not to compare myself to anyone. I think we're all just doing a lot of the things we do are for the first time. There's no proper blueprint on what to follow in life. You just go for it, see how you get on. But just be careful with comparison. There's good comparison and bad. Was it comparison's the thief of joy? It's a great fit praise, but there's bad comparison and good comparison. There's a lot of people I compare myself in a sense where I'm success leaves clues and I'm doing the things that they did to be successful. Um, but just be careful with your comparison. Not everyone has it figured out and everyone's in their own journey. My final lesson is relationships matter. Business, fitness, life. People remember how you make them feel. That's one thing I've learned with how busy I get with work. I make sure not to make that other people's problems. A lot of my clients will say that when they come in, and geez, you never think like you're stressed or anything like that. Because I try just be always smiling, be always on the buzz, for them. Um, and then when it comes to family, Laura, girlfriend, she's a legend. You try be the best you can around them as well. Because at the end of the day, life is all relationships. Just make sure you're watering each relationship that you have. Whether I think that you could be focused on one more than the other. So like business, I could be too busy on the business where like let's say I could not do anything with family or Laura every once in a while. So that's one thing at the end of the week to make sure you're doing is just make sure you're watering see it as a plant. Everyone's a plant, like relationship with parents, relationships with siblings, partners, girlfriends, boyfriends, and work colleagues. Make sure you're watering each individual one. Um, because one thing my dad always said to me was bring everything together. And I never truly understood that when I was young in school and naive and not listening to my parents because they haven't a clue, which is a lie. Parents actually know a lot. Um, bring it all together, bring everything together because what good is having a shitload of money in the bank account and business booming, but everyone thinks you're a fucking asshole or no one wants to be around you or you don't make anyone feel good when you're around them. Some people might be for that, not me. I want to bring it all together and make sure leave a good impact. Um, I could go on, but I do have PTs to get back to this evening. But if I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, I'd tell him stop worrying so much. Most things end up working out. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep helping people, and trust the process. Because again, usually life does work out. And I see a great thing from Jimmy Carr where he talked about uh, problems. He said problems just require a bit more of your attention. That's all. He's like, you're always going to have problems. You're never going to wake up and not have a problem. It's just going to be some are going to be worse than others, and some are going to require a bit more time than others. And one thing anyone listens to this, I can assure you, is usually problems end up working out, and uh, you just need to stop worrying. The biggest lesson I've learned is the things that change your life are rarely the big exciting things. It's the boring things that you do in day to day. For me, that was training by myself, PTing people in gyms where there was no one else working there, early mornings, late nights working, the difficult conversations you have with yourself, family, girlfriend, boyfriends, wherever people are all yet. It's the habits that nobody sees. Whether it's fitness, business, life, success is usually built through small actions repeated consistently over time. And I genuinely appreciate every person who supported the podcast, entered competitions, shared an episode, left a review, followed, or trusted me with their health and fitness journey. And here's to the next 52 episodes.